Focusing on your strengths and not your weaknesses. So I talked to several of my buddies, just like every one of these times I get an inspiration for a video. It's usually because I'm talking to friends that are in the business. So one of the big things that a lot of people make the mistake of is working on your weaknesses, meaning if you have a really strong Friday, Saturday night, you have a nightclub-ish environment, but you know what, your lunches and your dinners are terrible. Then everybody tends to make the knee-jerk reaction of, well, what can we do to get people in the door for lunch? So they spend all this money, they spend time, they spend all of these resources to build up a lunch that doesn't exist. One way or another, you're not in the area that has a market for lunch, maybe. Maybe people look at your brand and they're like, yeah, that's not really a lunch spot. And you can help that a little bit. But by dumping a ton of money and resources into something that's not going to happen, something that's not natural, something you have to build from scratch. You have to build that from 0 people in the door all the way up to a decent lunch or dinner. Instead of that, you have a solid Friday, Saturday. Why don't you spend your resources on making, a $5,000 Friday a $15,000 Friday? That's so much easier to build on an existing crowd, to build on something people want to be there for anyway. You're not forcing them with some really, a deal or a special or whatever to go to some place that they really don't want to go. If they don't want to go to your place for lunch, don't force them. Don't spend your money to try and make people do that. If you're trying to get them more and more and more people on a Friday night, Saturday night, that's your strength. Work on that. Your resources are way more valuable put into something like that. So that's just one example, but there's a ton of them out there. So anyway, if you're spinning wheels and making like, man, I've hired these people, I've spent this money, I made these flyers, I put them on social media for our new lunch specials and our new happy hour specials, whatever it is, they're just not working. I just can't get any traction. Well, that's probably why. So anyway, more to come on this later.